Friday night, streets hum a restless hymn. Shadows dance where the light grows dim. But I hear you call above the din. Your love pulls me, cleanses my sin. Hallelujah, in the darkest place, your mercy shines, your amazing grace. Even in the trap, you set me free. Friday night, you're here with me. Corner whispers tempt the weary soul, but your voice breaks through, makes me whole. Chains unravel, I rise, I stand. Your power's moving, I'm in your hands. Hallelujah, in the darkest place, your mercy shines, your amazing grace. Even in the trap, you set me free. Friday night, you're here with me. Trumpets echo in my spirit deep, waking life where death would creep. The trap dissolves, no fear remains. Your kingdom reigns, your love sustains undone. Hallelujah, in the darkest place, your mercy shines, your amazing grace. Even in the trap, you set me free. Friday night, you're here with me.
What is up? What is up? What is up, y'all? We are here live once again. Thankful to the Lord God to be before you. Feeling a little better than I felt yesterday. I talked to some of y'all on Patreon, and I appreciate y'all rocking out with me and sending me your well wishes on the Patreon platform. That song that you just heard, Friday night, because you know it's Friday Night Live, right? But for some reason, we here on a Saturday afternoon. Y'all, it is 12:58 p.m. on the West Coast. Well, how did that happen? Y'all know I have described myself to you before as an introvert, which I am. I don't get outside much. I am a homebody, and I have curated my home to be so comfortable that I enjoy being at home. But every now and then you got to step out. Hey, Bernie. Hey, AJ. Amethyst Angel in the building. Urban Southern Cookie in the building. Julie Zug is here from Lancaster. Thank you all for being here and for rocking out with me on today. It was my intent to be before you on Friday night, but this is my wife's birthday weekend, y'all. Listen, she older than I am. She don't like it when I talk about it too much, but let me tell you something. I always use it as an example for the young bucks. Get you an old bird. Get you a wife that's older than you, that know how to rock out the right way. Listen, I make a lot of it, but if I just be truthful, she only a couple months older than me. I just make more of it than it should be. but I enjoy it. But she wanted to see the water. Y'all, we live on the West Coast, and AJ would understand this. We have seen the coastline of California from the top to the bottom, from the Bay Area to Monterey, to Big Sur, to San Diego. We've been in all of, she enjoys the water. So she said, hey, for my birthday, take me to the water. Listen, take me to the water. And listen, I had to take my wife to the water, y'all. And we got out there, and just so happened that on the water in California in the beginning of June, it was 100 degrees out there. So I suffered a good piece, but I did it for my woman. That is the charge that God has put on my life, y'all. And I suffered a little piece. And when I got back, there was these little particles of things that looked like cotton floating through the air. And y'all, it did a thing to my sinuses, to my eyes. They swole up a little bit. And when I got back from the ocean, well, from the river in this case, I wasn't in no shape to cam up before y'all. So I put out a notice on Patreon and let y'all know that I would be camming up today and coming before y'all today. And y'all was so good to me that I appreciate y'all so much. Listen. And when we got back, my wife said, she apologized to me and said, I'm sorry, did I mess up your live? Listen, she knows that I love y'all. She loved me. She don't know y'all, but she loved me and she know that I love y'all. So there's a scenario that I learned about in law school called transference, right? It's a legal principle where you can do something without intention or do something to someone with intention and it transfers to someone else that you didn't intend. I ain't gonna go too deep in it today, but it just means that you didn't mean it for that person, but because you meant it for someone else, it can transfer into another circumstance. Well, she loved me. And because I love y'all, her love transfers to y'all. She said, did I mess up your life? Are you good? Can you? I said, listen, my eyes are red and puffy and swollen. I wouldn't dare cam up on this crazy internet. Even though I know my people love me like that, I'm not going to go before them. I'm not going to put myself out here in this open space. I will just recover. I will lay down in prayer, prostrate before the Lord and recover. And we will go before our people on the morrow. Thank you all for being here. Did y'all hear that opening song? That was interesting, wasn't it? Let me tell you something about that song. I've been hearing so many stories about people creating music and doing different things on this internet with all these different tools. I've been experimenting with AI in certain circumstances. That song that you heard in the intro was 100% artificial intelligence. From the singer to the band to the lyrics to everything, I fed some information to AI and said, oh, Bernie says she didn't hear. Oh, Bernie, you got to watch the replay. Check it out. This is computer-generated AI material, and it sounds a little CM, I understand, but when I put my information that I wanted into AI, AI ain't ready. Or maybe we not ready. Because I grew up with gospel music. That is part of my soul. That is part of my spirit. That is part of who I am. And I said, AI, listen, this is what I'm looking for. This is the message that I want to convey. We rocking out with our rocks out on Friday night. We want you to talk about Friday night and how we are coming together in spirit to worship in spirit and truth on Friday night. I was supposed to unleash it to y'all on Friday, but yeah, I just told y'all what happened on Friday. So I hope that you have a spirit of forgiveness on Saturday. But y'all, that song was 100% AI. And I'm playing around with the tools, trying to get familiar with the situation, trying to see if we can make it go like we want it to go. But here's the problem. And it might be just my personal problem, but AI ain't caught up to where I come from. AI is not in touch with who I am. When I put in gospel in AI, it don't know what I'm talking about. And for me, therein lies a big problem, because that means the people who are programming AI don't know who I am. Or else you would have programmed it into the system to understand someone coming from my perspective. Y'all, listen, there's a couple of y'all who saying you didn't hear it, you didn't understand. Okay, let me play just a little taint for y'all just so you can get a little piece. Here we go.
Friday night, streets hum a restless hymn. Shadows dance where the light grows dim. But I hear you call above the din. Your love pulls me, cleanses my sin. Hallelujah, in the darkest place, your mercy shines, your amazing grace. Even in the trap, you set me free. Friday night, you're here with me.
There you have it, y'all. Friday night, you are here with me as I go forth before God's people. That's how we want it. However, it ain't churchy enough for me. And I've been to all kind of churches, y'all. I'd have been to the white CCM churches. I'd have been to the blackity black churches. I'd have been to the Hispanic churches. I'd have been to the mixed race churches. I'd have seen it all, in my opinion. That right there is not what I was asking AI for. We're going to settle on it for now, because it seemed like in all my attempts, that seems like that's the best that AI can spit out at this moment, at least that app I was working with. We'll see how AI progresses, but it seemed like, T. Datcher in the building. Seemed like AI don't understand me. Seemed like AI don't understand my church. So we're going to pray for AI that it gets a better understanding of those people who are programming it. Get more in touch with people like me and come to understand where we come from, brothers. That ain't quite it. I need more. And if you don't understand what more means, then you don't understand me. I agree with you. Urban Southern Cookie says AI is only as good as what the programmer programs it to be. And Urban Southern Cookie, I feel like in this moment, they don't understand me. I feel like there's a disconnect between me and the programmers. They don't see me in society. They don't see my church. They don't see my upbringing. They don't see my socialization. We're going to see how it goes. Give me 1 second, y'all. We are here to talk about a couple issues that I had scheduled for Friday night. And because Friday night didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, we're here on Saturday to talk about it. So it is a Saturday afternoon live. We are touching and agreeing, I hope. Our sister Carmen is in the building. Thank you for being here, sis. She said, I pray all is well this afternoon with everyone. I pray the same. Let's touch and agree, Carmen. We pray everybody is good on this afternoon. Listen, y'all, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, because I got a couple stories that I would like to discuss with y'all that I meant for last night, but we held them over so that we can make a proper presentation to you on this weekend. It's been a slow news week, hasn't it? Nothing really to talk about in the news, right? No, we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room, because there's clearly an elephant in the room. But before we get to that, can somebody tell me what this is? What is going on here? When the prayers go, Now, y'all, when I was putting my clips together, I saw that for the first time. I was putting things in order in the browser to be able to present to y'all, and somehow this popped up on X. I hadn't seen that before. But when I see situations like this, it triggers me, y'all. It just does. Because I look at these brothers who are putting forth so much energy. Amethyst Angel say A-Fi-A. These, I found out in researching, trying to find out where this clip came from, what this was about. These are the Hebrew Israelites, yo. And when I look at so many melanated brothers who are putting so much energy into chanting and grunting and walking around in lockstep and marching and whatnot, I say, bruh, the blackity blacks have marched around for generations, and all that has come from it is hurt ankles and bunions, hurt feet, corns. And I look at brothers like this who march in lockstep and say, well, you must have studied, you must have practiced, you must have rehearsed in order to make this presentation. I wonder, when I look at this, as I talk to y'all kids, as I counsel y'all sons, I say, listen, bruh, you might be stomping and stepping, but how much you owe in child support? And I don't mean current child support. I mean arrears, bruh. How much back pay do you owe? How many kids you got out in the community that you ain't taking care of? How many felonies you got? How many years you do in prison? We got so many issues in the community, y'all, that we must take care of, that are so important, that are so prescient to us. And yet you got brothers out here in the community who are taking advantage of weak-minded, emotional men. They're uneducated. They're uninformed in many cases. They've lost their way. If they've ever had a way, they maybe they never found a way at all, but they're in situations where they don't have a way now. And you got people out here who are looking to take advantage of them. Amethyst Angel says strong here, especially in North Philly. I'm not sure what's going on in North Philly, but I understand that these brothers are gaining some traction. They even pulling folks away from the nation, which used to be notorious. Can I say that? For making brothers stand up and do right and act right, be upstanding citizens in society. They used to be strong for that, but it seems like brothers are being pulled away even from that into this that is much more militant. But again, I say, bro, you marching around, have you paid your child support? You marching around, stomping around, chanting around, is your license suspended? What's really going on in your life? Because there are some things that are more important, I guarantee it. There are some things that are more important to you than marching around, chanting, grunting on top of the people. But that ain't what I came here for, y'all. As I was putting these clips together, trying to find certain things to present to y'all, that's what popped up in my feed. And I said, oh God, what is this? What is going on? But we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. Can we start with that? Because I'm not trying to long stroke y'all. I'm not trying to hold y'all out for what is going on. Let me see if I can find the clip, because this, I think, is much more important. As we talk about political things on this channel, I try to present narratives to you that provide solutions in some way or another. You ain't got to agree with me 100%. I just want you to feel where I'm coming from and understand that I am trying to push for solutions in the community to the many problems that we face, not only as a community, but as a nation. And here we are in a week, y'all, that has been, in my opinion, unprecedented, where you got the richest man in the world that is bumping heads with the most powerful man in the world. What is going on, y'all? I couldn't have predicted it. Now, I can say I suspected something was going to happen. I wouldn't have predicted this. Vanita Hall's in the building. Thank you for being here. I wouldn't have predicted this. When I saw Elon clinging so hard to Donald Trump, I said, okay, you got the richest man in the world. You got the most powerful man in the world. He has now been elected by the people. And you got Elon clinging to him like glue. I said, what is going on? He's living at Mar-a-Lago. And people were jokingly coming out and saying, Trump can't get rid of him. He's on his hip. He won't let go. And then, y'all, once he got in the White House, I saw some crazy things happening where the dude was always around. He was always in the camera shot with the president. Like, bro, you are attached at the hip. Not only that, y'all, listen. Y'all know Lil X, right? Lil X, Lil Elon's son, Lil X. I saw a news clip. I was watching it live because I see Donald Trump invited Elon into the White House repeatedly and said, listen, as I give press conferences, you can stand here with me. You can rock out with me. You can be a part of what's going on here. And at some point, Elon Musk invited Lil X to the party. Lil X got an invite to the cookout. He was around all the time. And I'm watching live on television, and Lil X is digging in his nose, y'all. He knuckle deep in his nostrils. I said, oh, this is unprecedented. Has this ever happened before? What is going on here in America? Lil X dug knuckle deep in his nose, and y'all, if I'm lying, I'm flying. This little boy wiped a booger on the 100-year-old Resolute desk. I said, okay, it's a new day in America. We're doing something different now. We're in new territory. These are uncharted waters. You got the president, you got the vice president, you got the first lady, and you got what people call the first buddy, Elon Musk. Urban Southern Cookie said, wow, you can look it up, Urban Southern Cookie. I promise you, the cameraman in the news was like, okay, I'm going to focus on this little kid because something is interesting is going to happen here, because the kid is wilding out. He behind the desk. Donald Trump is talking to the media. The cameraman focused on the kid. The kids start, I'm going to repeat it. Y'all heard what I said. I saw what I saw. It's out there. Bonnie Rivera's in the building. Thank you for being here. Urban Southern Cookie said, now you have the first booger. Yes, for sure. In my lifetime, I've never seen such a thing. But Donald Trump, having grandchildren of his own, was so kind and so generous as to not snap. He let the kid run around. He understood this is okay. This is Elon's thing. This is part of Elon. He embraced it. That's why you can get on X right now and find so many images of Donald Trump with Lil X without Elon even being in the image, because he's that welcoming. He was in the Middle East doing a Middle East tour, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. He said, hey, I just found out that my new grandchild is here. I got to get home. I want to meet my new grandbaby. And I understand that. As a grandfather myself, I understand it. I want to get out of California myself, but my grandbabies are here and my wife ain't leaving them. We have to just scoop them all up against their parents' will and take them with us. That'd be the only way. But I understand Mr. Trump is more than just a president. He's a father and a grandfather who cares. And when you introduced him to Lil X, he cared for Lil X, even though he saw some flaws in Lil X's daddy as he stood there behind the desk, looked like he tripping out on something. And they try to make an excuse for it and say, Elon is on the spectrum. Might have autism. He might have some other issues going on. So give him some grace. Okay, we gave him some grace, but it looked like y'all in certain video footage looked like he tripping out. Our sister, Amethyst Angel, thank you for the 5. It says, this super is my word with my money. I think the DJ TEM Tiff was scripted by the 2 best global trolls. Who's with me now? I've heard that argument, Amethyst Angel. I've heard other people express exactly what you're saying here, that they think this is a trolling mission to fool somebody in the background. And I thought that too when I first heard it, when I first saw it, when I first seen it unfold. But there's some things that were said that can't be unsaid by Elon Musk. And I said, is this dude really crashing out like this? Because if you understand Donald Trump like I understand Donald Trump, and you've been following him for some time, see, the news media, the mainstream media, the fake media has made so much of Elon. And him saying, well, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. No, bro, no. When I heard that, I said, no, if you've been following this for some time, you understand. Even if that was the case, that ain't the kicker with a guy like Donald Trump. Because with somebody like Donald Trump, who I think might be the pettiest man to ever walk the face of the earth, Amethyst Angel, he might be the worst of the worst as far as petty goes. If you say, well, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, that's not going to kill him. If you know his history and you know his personality and you've looked at him for a while, that ain't going to kill him. What's going to kill him is where Elon came back and said, without me, he wouldn't have won the election. Oh my goodness. Now that's where I locked in and said, this is irreparable harm. Tanya Payne in the building. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. That was the point where I said, ain't no coming back from this. Donald Trump still ain't got over the 2020 election. He's still tripping. Rightfully so now. Rightfully so. But he's still tripping on 2020. He's saying, ain't no way. Don't care who you are. Ain't no way I lost to Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe Biden. Ain't no way. I got record votes in this country. You tell me I lost to this dude whose brain is mashed potatoes? Ain't no way. You can accuse him of Epstein connections all you want. You can accuse him of being on Epstein Island. You can release all the Epstein files you want. That ain't what's killing him. The red line in the sand, as Obama would say, that demarcation point where there is no coming back, the crossing of the Rubicon, is where you said you would not have won this election had it not been for me. Oh my God, when I saw that, y'all, I said, this is real. Yeah, it might have been fake before this. Y'all might have been just posturing before this. Y'all might have been acting before this. But this right here, oh, Donald Trump can't get over this. He is the king of petty. Elon had nothing to do with Trump winning. He did pour millions upon millions of dollars, $45 million a month, I believe, at a certain point into that campaign. Money helps. But I don't believe he was responsible for winning, just as he is not. He's finding out the hard way, y'all. He's in the find out phase as he done messed around. Now he's finding out you have all the money, but you don't have all the power. And unfortunately for you, you're finding out the hard way, in fact. You're finding out that the money can't buy you the power.
In the mud, it's not okay. As Americans, we are allowed to disagree on the substance of the issue, but ad hominem attacks have no place in the public square.
That's certainly true. I don't know that President Trump has always adhered to that particular philosophy, and I know your smirk actually confirms my thinking on that. But you also said that you're leaving the Doge movement after Musk's attacks on Trump. What was your final straw?
My final straw was, look, for months now, Elon set expectations 2 trillion, 1.5 trillion, 1 trillion. And if you take the numbers at face value on Doge.gov right now, it's 170 billion. Now that's real money. I think that Sesame Street in Iraq should have been defunded. That's about $1,100 a taxpayer as it stands right now. But the truth is the Doge movement ought to continue, and it will, with the cabinet secretaries like Secretary Hegseth and Secretary Duffy in their own respective agencies, identifying waste, fraud, and abuse, making the government more leaner and more accountable to taxpayers like you and me and your listeners at home. But the truth of the matter is that Elon Musk set expectations with the president, with me, and with the country that he did not fulfill. The Doge movement has to continue, and I'm eager to support that movement in a new light.
What does that light look like? Obviously, he was a special government employee, and his time was supposed to be limited. You didn't believe that it was going to all be accomplished, his objectives within that amount of time. There must be something else that has led you astray.
Well, I think I'm a big believer. I was a high school debater 15 years ago, Laura, and we were always taught to separate our opponent from the argument. And when you make the argument about your opponent, when you steep to these personal, slanderous, vicious attacks against a father, a grandfather, a husband, the president of the United States who won the Electoral College, the popular vote, all 7 swing states.
Which President Trump has done as well, you know.
Well, look, I don't want to judge the president or anybody by what they may have done 4, 8, 10 years ago. The truth of the matter is the president has been exceptionally gracious, magnanimous, and patient with these slanderous attacks. They are beneath him. He is taking the high road as he should, and we all should compliment him on doing so. As the president just said on Air Force One, he's focused on bigger things, Laura. There's a jobs report today, 140,000 jobs created, all of which were in the private sector, not in the government sector, not here in the DC zip codes, but hardworking folks across this country are getting back to work. You heard the president say he's making progress on the US-China front, on the Iran front, on the Russia front. He doesn't have any time, no distractions to deal with Elon Musk. He is focused on delivering on that historic mandate Americans gave him in November.
Well, certainly I hope a president of any country, let alone this one, would focus on the priorities that he has laid out as opposed to Twitter wars, although he has elevated Elon Musk as an advisor such that the American public and the world is paying attention to him in a very different realm. And if he was once the right-hand man, either philosophically or otherwise, he has made a bit of this bed for himself. But what about this big, beautiful bill, as it's called? Why do you think Elon Musk is wrong about it?
Well, the big, beautiful bill is not merely a good bill. It's a great bill. You take President Trump's campaign promises. Think about it. Deliver tax relief for working families. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, delivering tax relief for seniors. That benefits hardworking Americans all over this country. That's in the big, beautiful bill. Increase in border security of $70 billion, a one-time increase to ensure that we have more detention center space, more ICE agents, a fully sealed border. The truth is that the illegal migrants that came into this country under President Biden, over 12 million, they're costing taxpayers about $150 billion a year.
But also CBO, speaking of money to taxpayers, says that this bill could increase it by like trillions. I mean, you have a number that's talking about if taxpayer money is an issue. Is that not a concern of yours?
Well, the interesting thing about the CBO survey, their forecast is that they don't take into account, one, the tariff revenue, which is going to be about $2 trillion over the next 10 years. Number two, they don't take into account—
If the tariff revenue stands,
Sure,
right?
but
That's an if, but go ahead.
There's a lot of ifs here.
Sure.
And the second one is if you secure the border and save taxpayers $150 billion a year, Trump has done that 99% reduction in border crossings since President Biden was thrown out of office. What ends up happening, Laura, is you save the taxpayer money in the process. The CBO has not put that in their model. And then finally, they assumed that the Trump tax cuts, which everybody in DC, Republican and Democrat, would tell you were going to continue, they assumed they would expire, and therefore their model does not accurately reflect that. The truth of the matter is the CBO is not a nonpartisan organization, Laura. 8 out of 10 employees who work there are registered Democrats. We should be skeptical of the forecast for that reason, but also for the substantive reasons I just laid out.
The Republicans also have touted the CBO over time. Is it not a good organization or good entity at all if it doesn't support what you're saying?
No, what the CBO did 20 years ago, 30 years ago under President Clinton or President Bush is very different than the highly polarized environment that exists today. I think both you and I can agree with that. The truth of the matter is when there's gaping holes in their models and forecasts, when it comes to tariff revenue, when it comes to the actual net benefit of cutting out illegal labor and illegal immigration that actually saves the taxpayer money, the CBO model does not estimate that whatsoever. This is a good bill. It delivers on President Trump's promises, and it's a shame that because it doesn't have Elon Musk's electric vehicle subsidies, that he would oppose it.
Are you holding your breath for Elon Musk's apology?
I'm not. I think the president has moved on. I would like Elon Musk to apologize, but the president doesn't need Elon Musk to do anything. He was elected by the people. He's going to deliver for him.
You don't think Elon Musk's money will have any impact on GOP? Well, leave it alone. We'll ask another day.
Sure.
We'll see. James Fishback, thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Amethyst Angel with the 5. Thank you, sis. She speaks my language. I would love to have a cup of coffee and a discussion with this woman because she just speaks to my spirit. She says, none of us have the patience to play Trump's long game. He's had 4+ years to plan his strategies, in my opinion. I agree with you, sis. And he tried, to his credit, in all fairness, he tried to hit the ground running. And what did the Democrats do? They used the only branch of government that they had in order to fight back against him. They said, oh, well, the Republicans got the legislature, they got the Congress. Okay, well, only in a small margin. If we can pick off a couple votes in Congress, maybe we can stifle what they're doing. Well, the big, beautiful bill made it through by 1 vote, which means the Democrats ain't been effective in that. Now it's going to the Senate. Senate gonna chop it up. There's so many rhinos in the Senate, y'all. I have little faith in what the Senate is going to do. They're going to send it back to Congress, and it's going to be a problem. But I agree with you, sis Amethyst Angel, on the timeline, because he had 4 years during Joe Biden's administration to put something together. He tried, excuse me, y'all. He tried to hit the ground running, and the judges, the only branch of government that the Democrats have left, these radical anti-American judges are stifling him at every point. Now, y'all, we are roughly 6 months into the administration, right? He only got 3.5 years left. And the deep state is saying, we can wait you out. Even Elon Musk said it in their back and forth. Y'all, Elon Musk tweeted out over 60 times. And I said, this dude is tripping. He must be high. He must be on something else that we don't even understand. What would trigger a man like this to be so emotional that he would just crash out? Y'all heard me before on this platform. I've talked about crash dummies. As I talk to the young people in the community, folks willing to crash out, willing to risk it all, willing to do dumb stuff. I just heard a story this week about an officer who got killed in Chicago, chasing a young dreadhead. They said the suspect was a blackity black with dreadlocks. She running after him. She chasing him down. She follows him into an apartment. Somebody in the apartment has a rifle. They gun her down right there in Chicago. This week, y'all, this news. I didn't plan on talking about it today, but it's coming up. Shot that woman, killed that woman. That woman got a daughter at home that was waiting for her to get off her shift. Wondering what mama gonna cook when she get home. Or maybe in the reverse. I cook something for mama so that she can enjoy it when she gets home off her shift. I know she's been out there chasing the bad guys, doing the work of the taxpayers of Chicago. Let me make her something nice. Let me make her something that she enjoys, her favorite dish, something that she will love, something that will make her feel better. After a hard day's work, after chasing down all these criminals. Y'all want to hear the description again? Blackety black with dreadlocks. Well, that don't make me feel good. I got a young son with dreadlocks. And he blackety black. Sound like he fit the description. But he ain't out there in them streets. He ain't out there running into apartments where folks is holding rifles, shooting at the police. Does that make me feel any better? Make me feel like I'm doing my job? But when I have platforms like this, my job is bigger than just in my household. I'm trying to speak to your kids and your cousins and your brothers and your grandkids. I'm trying to speak to the community. Y'all want to help me speak to the community? Hit the like button. Because I'm looking at the numbers on this Saturday, and they probably would have been higher had I got on here on Friday as I was scheduled. But I apologize. I can't apologize enough. I got people who rock with me on this platform and in the Patreon, and I'm thankful for you each and every day. May God bless you and your families. Our sister Urban Southern Cookie with the 20. Thank you, sis. Says Elon Musk may have assumed that financial influence would grant him sway over President Trump. I agree with you. I think that's what he was thinking. Hey, you the richest man in the world, the richest man on the planet. You think money solves all things. However, she says, this perspective underestimates Trump's independent leadership style. A strategic thinker, Trump operates autonomously. I agree with you 100% with everything you said. I think Elon overplayed his hand. Elon thought he could buy his way into government and solve his own problems with his money. I think he overplayed his hand. I think it backfired in his face. It blew up in his face in front of the world. Give me a second, y'all. Donald Trump just took Elon to the Middle East, y'all, just a few weeks ago in that epic trip to the Middle East where he went to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. Elon Musk was with him, shaking the hands of the crown prince, shaking the hands of world leaders all over the place as part of the administration. Bro, you flying on Air Force One, you are down with the camp. So what does it look like on the world stage? This is not just a United States embarrassment. The whole world is watching. And Elon has come out and said this man need to be impeached. He said, you accusing this man of being a pedo. At the same time, you allow Lil X to be around him. What does that say about you, sir? Yeah, y'all, we got a lot to unpack here, and we're not going to be able to unpack it in one live. This is all going to come out in the weeks ahead, but I totally agree with y'all. Especially my sister Amethyst Angel said, listen, the time is of the essence. I'm not finna wait out Donald Trump and his extended timeline, bro. You only got a matter of time before the midterms. If you lose your majority in the midterms, you are done. You will get nothing done for the next 2 years. You'll be a lame duck president for 2 years. They will stifle everything you do. And you say, okay, well, I can write executive orders, but what does that do? When the next president can come in and rewrite or just unwind your executive orders in the way that Joe Biden did. And we know Joe Biden was the president. He had Obama operatives in his administration, and they're the ones who did it. That's why we're investigating the auto pen. Y'all, there's a lot going on. And I know I'm not staying focused here, but it was a whole lot of news this week. And I took it all in. I assure you, y'all. I was glued to every platform, taking it all in, trying to process it all. There was a lot going on in the world, including wars in the Middle East, the Gaza situation, the Ukraine situation, Amethyst Angel with the 5 says, he's prepared for the ongoing lawfare. The administration knows that the biggest hurdle, that's the biggest hurdle, the ongoing lawfare. Let me process that, sis. That's the biggest hurdle? Lawfare is the biggest hurdle? I would agree with you on that because lawfare includes and encompasses the judiciary who is making rulings against the administration in all of his executive orders. At every turn, every time he does anything, you got some judge somewhere in some little district who's going to rule against him. And it's going to take time in order to escalate to the SCOTUS where someone can make a determination. And even if they knock it down, what if they wasted 3 months, 4 months, 6 months? The deep state is saying, I can wait you out and I can engage in lawfare in order to win the game. I agree with you, sis. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate you. Says the administration sprinted the first 100 days. Trump's pacing the marathon. We gonna find out. We ain't got no choice but to find out. Something is going to happen. Something's going to have to break. Something's going to have to give. Amethyst Angel. And time is not on his side, unfortunately, especially, listen, especially when you got Republican Congress that is taking vacation after vacation. They're taking weeks off at a time. Seems like there's no urgency in Congress. I need you to work overtime like I used to do when I was younger. Working 80, 90 hours a week. I need you to work like that, Congress. I need you to take this thing seriously. No, y'all going on vacation like there's no sense of urgency. Our sister Urban Southern Cookie with the 10. Thank you, sis. Said Trump intellectual capabilities rival Musk. Yeah, see, Urban Southern Cookie understands what's going on here. Yes. This is King Kong versus Godzilla. 2 titans, respectively, in their own right. And the adeptness at maintaining composure and asserting influence suggests that, if anything, it was Trump who amplified Musk's public stature, not the reverse. Ooh, but is Elon finding out the hard way, sis? Because, see, he thought it was the reverse. He said, I done used my money and I done bought Twitter. I done exposed the government corruption that was going on in Twitter. The fact that everything that was going on this platform was government propaganda, and they were using this platform to brainwash the masses. I came in here, I dropped the coin, I overpaid for it, I lost the money on the deal. And it was sneaky how he did it, because he just started buying stock. He said, I'm going to move in here as an investor and I'm going to buy more stock and more stock and more stock until I'm the majority stock owner of this company. And then it was a hostile takeover, because that's what money will do for you. You can use your money and be a bully on this economic platform and these economic situations, financial situations around the world. You can use your money to bully folk. And that's exactly what he did. They didn't want to sell to him. He forced it because he snuck his way in. He used his money to leverage a situation and take over that company. Once he bought it, once he discovered what was going on there, he said, I can use this to my advantage. LS in the building. Thank you for being here. Yes, we live. We on. Gladys Kravitz in the building. Thank you for being here. Elon overplayed his hand and he thought, not only can I buy Twitter, not only can I buy legislatures, congressmen and women, I can buy the presidency. All I got to do is put a little money out there into his campaign. Help him win. Put a little investment scheme together, so that I can put money behind his back and put a battery in his back so that I give him a thrust forward in his campaign. I will help him win. And he will owe me, because that's how life works, right? No, that's how life works in business. But Donald Trump learned the hard way, just like Elon Musk is having to learn the hard way. See, bro, you are lagging behind Donald Trump. He's ahead of you. He's already learned these lessons after the 2016 election, where he thought he could go in there and exert his will on government, and the deep state said, nah, we ain't doing it. We know you're a billionaire. We know you dedicating your salary. We know you being president for free because you don't need the money. But you're going to learn some lessons here today. Donald Trump learned those lessons in Donald Trump 1.0. So when Elon Musk injects himself into the equation and says, oh, well, I can manipulate this situation. No, you're dealing with Donald Trump 2.0, sir. He done learned some lessons. Not only did he learn the lessons in Donald Trump 1.0, but he sat there during the Biden administration and had to let some things fester and bubble up in his spirit and say, this is irritating to my soul, because I know I didn't lose. I know I won. I know I've been cheated. And look at what they're doing to this beloved country of mine. South Africa in the building. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate you rocking out with us. Monster Hunter here. Thank you for being here. It's going to be some hard lessons learned, y'all. We got 3.5 years left. 6 months. I'm not going to say it's been wasted, because there has been some progress made. Some of these executive orders have needed to be signed. We got a militarized border that needed to be militarized. I guess I got to move on, because there's some things I wanted to get to that I haven't even covered yet. But this is such an amazing situation, y'all, where we are looking at certain situations in this administration between these two titans, not just of industry, but of social prominence. Donald Trump is more than just a president. He's more than just a dude off The Apprentice. And Elon, attaching himself to the situation, he's more than just the Tesla guy. He's more than just a guy who shoots rockets off into space, whether they work or not. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But we understand what's going on. And every time Elon shoots off a rocket, whether it works or not, he's learning more and more and more about circumstances that are going to help him achieve his goals. See, y'all got to understand. I listened to Steve Bannon this week come out and talk about deporting Elon Musk. That was the funniest thing to me, because we know Elon's history. We know he's South African. We know he's an African American. Do we want to deport Elon Musk because he invested so much money into the political sphere, into the election, because he knew that America is the best place on earth for him to get off of earth? See, you can get so rich that you are disillusioned. And God knows I am trying to set up my family with generational wealth. I want everybody to be right. I want everybody to be good, so that when I leave here, I can be at peace with the whole situation and say, I know that I did my best and I set them up to be successful. That is what I want. But I don't want to be Elon rich, because Lord Acton once said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I feel like in this circumstance, Elon Musk has gotten to a point where he feels like he has absolute power because he got absolute financial resources. He said, I can buy the presidency. I can buy the Congress. Well, Donald Trump ain't here to be bought. So you got the richest man versus the most powerful man. Seems like power is winning out, and Elon is finding out the hard way. I don't want to be that rich. I hope y'all don't want to be that rich, You get that rich, it's going to be hard to make it to heaven. That's Bible. Let's see what we got here in this next clip, y'all.
You call the president on his cell phone at 6:45, he picks up.
Yeah, he picked up. Look, there's been reporting out there that the White House is working to put together a call between Elon Musk and Donald Trump to broker some kind of peace. I asked Donald Trump about that. He said he's not particularly interested in talking to Elon Musk. He said Elon wants to talk to him. He's not ready to talk to Musk, who he called a man who has lost his mind.
They have a lot of leverage over each other.
Oh, there's no question about that. Look, Elon Musk, obviously the richest man on the planet, the biggest Republican donor in the history of Republican donors.
You call the president on his cell phone at 6:45, he picks up.
Yeah, he picked up. Look, there's been reporting out there that the White House is working.
There you go, y'all. And there's been an update even on that story where Donald Trump has come out and said, I ain't trying to talk to Elon. I probably won't talk to Elon for a while. I'm disconnected from Elon and I'm moving on. Ginger Rue in the building. Thank you for being here. Donald Trump has moved on because he's saying, listen, bro, even with all your money, you talk about hundreds of billions as the richest man in the world, but I'm talking about trillions in GDP money. We rock out with trillions over here. These trillions will blow on your hundreds of billions. Matter of fact, if I snatch those government contracts from you, then what you gonna look like over there at Tesla? Then what you gonna look like over there at SpaceX? Over there at Starlink? What are you going to do, richest man in the world, if we snatch all of America's funding from your entities? That's where Donald Trump is, bro. You talking about hundreds of billions versus trillions. I control this. This is money versus power. Y'all, you are witnessing something unprecedented unfold right before your eyes. And Donald Trump took him just weeks ago to the Middle East and said, let me go down here and present you to these people that I'm connected with. I know you've been down here before. This ain't your first time to the Middle East, but let's go down here and fly you down here on Air Force One so that these people can see you connected to me and on my hip, and they can give you a certain amount of respect just based on your connection to me. Did y'all see that presentation in the Middle East? Did everybody see that? How they put the escorts, the police escorts on Teslas, painted them up, put police lights on them, and escorted the president of the United States throughout the Middle East in Teslas? Well, we know that Tesla is not a Trump company. It's not a Trump enterprise, but they connected Elon to Trump because he had been living at Mar-a-Lago. He had been with Trump everywhere you could see him. He had been even on rallies and in the campaign. He had attached himself. Listen, I wasn't going to go here today. Thank you to our sister Amethyst Angel with the 2. Says, Trump is the media's puppet master. Woo. Woo. He has such a tumultuous relationship with the media, though. He has such contempt, at least for the mainstream media. Now, independent media like myself, I could see it, but the media, mainstream media, historic media has so much contempt for Donald Trump. Our sister CA with the 20, sister CA, we love you to life, sis. She don't say much, y'all. She just come in and she blesses. She don't have no question. She don't have no comment. She just drops some love in the chat, and we appreciate her for her presence here. Every time she show up, we be waiting to see her. There's some people we expect to see in the chat, and she one of them. We miss you when you ain't here, sis. We love you to life, and thank you for being here along with everyone else in the chat. Jenny is in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Greedy Genius in the chat. Thank you all for rocking out. Our sister Bernie Miranda is here. Thank you all. But this is a complicated situation, y'all, that continues to unfold right before our eyes. How are we going to deal with it? Well, I'm going to continue to cover it for sure and come on this platform and speak on it. But I didn't want to get ahead of the story in a certain way because I understood as fast as things were unfolding this week, and I joked about it earlier in the live when we first got started. I understood early on that things were unfolding so rapidly that if I took the time to create video content and get before you and talk about what Trump said or what Elon said, by the time I edited it, by the time I uploaded it, by the time I got before you, it would be so problematic that it would be old news. That the story would have moved on content-wise. So that's where we were. That's where we are. I will continue to cover it, but I'm not going to cover it trying to be the first to the story, because usually the first person to the story is wrong, and these things are developing so quickly that I want to be able to internalize some things and be able to process it in order to bring you real stories and real perspectives, such that I don't have to get on here and apologize for saying something that is now old news, or saying something late, saying something that don't apply anymore. These are the things that I'm dealing with. So here we go. Got a new story. Thank you for everyone who's been supporting the stream on this Saturday afternoon. Thank you for being here and rocking out with me on this Saturday afternoon. We got another situation that I want to discuss quickly. Let me see if I can bring it up here for y'all as we present. There's a gentleman in America who, in my opinion, don't belong in America. That's just my opinion. Y'all don't have to agree with it. But in my opinion, he don't belong in America. He was deported. He was sent to El Salvador. He was imprisoned in Secot in El Salvador. There was a problem. But you got people here in America, Congress men and women, who have advocated for this gentleman, who have gone down to El Salvador to stage events. Let's just put it that way. We don't want to misclassify it. They went down there to stage events in front of CCOT to get this dude released. Well, y'all, he's finally been released from El Salvador. He's been released back to America, as the judges here in America, these little district judges that I talk about, who make these decisions in a little district decisions that affect the entire country. They brought him back because a judge somewhere said, you got to bring him back. Turns out this dude is worse than what we thought. Well, he's worse than what we were told. Can we put it that way? Because America only released so much information on him at the time. Donald Trump's administration got him out of here quick. Said, we know what he's done. We know what he's accused of. We know what he's guilty of. Get him out of here. Send him to El Salvador. Lock him up. Turns out, y'all, that he had a previous deportation order from America, right? And they said, hey,
Hello, sir. How are you?
sorry, y'all. Hope you didn't get blasted with that audio like I did. Say, hey, you can't get him out of here that fast. You can't get him out of here that easy. You gotta have due process. It's constitutional. Well, if you're in the country illegally, you don't have constitutional rights. They just don't apply to you because you're not a citizen of America. Anyway, that's a long story. We'll go into that another day. But they sent him out. The judges said that he got to be brought back. You sent him out illegally. He deserves some due process in this country. Well, y'all, as one of the deputy attorney generals said in the DOJ, welcome back, bruh. You have been brought back to America. And now you are facing charges here in America. You're going to do about 30 years in the federal pen in America. And all they're going to do after that is deport you again. So we satisfying these radical leftist judges who are trying to impose their will on the Trump administration, who are trying to put a stick in the spokes of the Trump administration and stop everything they're trying to do. Y'all, this lawfare is amazing. They saying we'll wait you out, we'll obstruct, we'll do everything we need to do to slow down and stop the Trump administration. And when we get what we need to get, by the time we get there, you'll be out of office, bro, and you would have achieved nothing that was on your agenda. Because all we need to do is, we don't need to stop it completely. We just need to slow it down. You only got 4 years in office, bro. We just need to slow you down because Donald Trump tried to hit the ground running and say, hey, I only got a certain amount of time to the midterms. If we can get a majority in Congress, okay, cool. If we get to the midterms and we lose, bro, we done. And I know everybody looks at it and says, okay, we got a 4-year presidential term. But if you lose the midterms, what is the president going to be able to get done? And listen, let me just put it this way. If you lose the midterms, they're going to impeach this man again. So that's not even a concern. If you don't get it done by the midterms and get some momentum in order that you can at least maintain the slim margin that you have in Congress, if you lose it, oh, they're going to impeach you, bro. And it's going to be some hard, listen, the old mothers used to say when I was coming in church, you got to chew hard bone. You're going to be chewing hard bone for the next 2 years of your administration. You better hit the ground running. You better get something done quickly, swiftly. Because if you don't, this is what we're going to deal with. Our sister Urban Southern Cookie with the 10 says, Elon is a rich man child. Yes, see that word right there, that child word. I've used that several times this week, Urban Southern Cookie. Listen, we on the same page. He acting like a petulant child, like somebody you see in the grocery store just kicking and screaming on the ground because their mama said, put it back. That's what Elon acting like out here. And you would think, bro, how can you be the richest man in the world, an ultra billionaire, and crash out like this? Thank you, sis. Said Elon is a rich man child that acts like a little boy that goes to the basketball court with his basketball. But they won't even let him play. So he takes his ball and goes home pouting. Yeah, he don't just go home pouting. He go home pouting and talking crazy and cussing and posting on social media and crashing out with all that money. See, we make the mistake of thinking that money equates to wisdom. Money equates to social status, and that if you got money, you intelligent. But if you know, like I know, and I talk to y'all kids on a regular basis on social media and otherwise, being rich don't mean you intelligent. Sometimes being rich just mean you got lucky. And I don't like to talk about luck because I believe that all blessings come from on high. But sometimes God will bless you and put you in a position where you ain't even got to be smart to receive that blessing. It just falls in your lap. Bro, you just happen to be 6'10", 280 pounds. And somebody said, listen, we're going to pay you just for being as big as you are. But there's another side to that coin. Because your mama had to buy you them size 18 shoes in high school that she couldn't afford. because she was working down at the warehouse, or she's working at the hospital doing double shifts, just trying to keep you clothed, my guy. Some sacrifice had to take place when you 7 feet tall in the 8th grade. Y'all, we're going to talk about it. But this dude is back on American soil. Abrego Garcia is back in America because that's what the judges said they wanted. So here he is. Here he sits. But here he is charged for the crimes that he's been accused of in America that they didn't want you to know even about. They didn't publicize it. The mainstream media didn't talk about it. He got sent to El Salvador for the crimes he committed in America, which included human trafficking of women and children, some of which he abused as he trafficked them. Check this out, y'all.
You? All right. Everything good? You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for 6. Yes.
Go back to work. Gotcha. Where you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from Maryland.
Okay. Now the reason I stopped you, we was running 75 down through here.
75?
Yeah. Of course, this is 65 through here.
I know. I'm going to 70.
Going 70?
Yeah. What's the limit right now?
Yeah.
70 or 65?
It's 65.
I can see it, sir.
You got all your
Because
info?
I see the other, the speed limit. I see the 70.
Yeah, it jumps up and down.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Give me my license.
Yeah, your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of insurance.
Oh my God. Okay, sure.
You what?
The problem with my license right now is expired, right?
It's suspended?
Suspended because I have my permanent employment, so like 2 years experience. So I need to. So right now I'm waiting the paper for migration. For I go to the MBA. So you know. That car no is mine, so it's to my boss.
So where do y'all live at?
Where I live?
Mm-hmm.
I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, Oxford.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car is it?
It's to my boss.
Your boss?
My boss. Yeah.
Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas.
Have you got the proof of insurance?
Yeah, I don't know where it's put at my boss. Let me call.
So where are you guys coming from right now? Where are you coming from?
From San Luis. So I work in San Luis. So right now, finished. That place finished. So I go back to the house in Maryland. Next week, I go maybe tonight with the other project.
I thought you was going to Missouri.
The next project, I told you, the next project next week is I'm going. Everybody going to Niceville. The next project, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now,
What do y'all do?
Huh?
What kind of work is it?
It's construction, like remoderation, painting, drywall, everything like that.
Does anybody else have a driver's license?
Driver license?
Yeah.
No,
Nobody.
Only me, so it's there for real.
Can you find your insurance?
Si pueden buscar la insurance. You say?
Your insurance. Can you find it?
I called my boss because I don't know where put the car.
Okay. I'm gonna go back here and run your license and stuff real quick. Okay. I'll be right back. How dark are your windows?
Huh?
How dark's the back windows?
Window?
Stand by. How dark are they?
The colors.
Yeah.
From Texas is good.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, three seats. Yeah, with him. Yeah.
Did y'all put an extra one in?
Huh?
Did y'all put another one in?
No.
Did it come like this?
He said, huh?
The truck.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
You hear me? What you say? It's my boss.
I said I've never seen one with that many seats.
Oh,
in it.
really?
Yeah. That's why I was asking if you put an extra one in.
No, it's the same. Like this.
Okay.
You know what you got, right?
Huh?
You know what you got here, right?
No.
He's hauling these people for money, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No. But
There's 8 people in there.
yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say.
Y'all see what's going on? This is just a bit of evidence that is being presented or has been presented to the grand jury that has now indicted this dude. So him coming back from CCOT, okay, the judges in America that are enemies of America were putting pressure on the Trump administration and saying, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back. Okay, cool. We'll bring him back, but we're going to charge him and we're going to make sure that he faces charges such that he will do tens of years in America, because that's what y'all want. You want him on American soil, right? We're going to bring him back to America. We're going to lock him up in federal prison. And then when he's done with federal prison, we sending him right back to El Salvador. And it turns out, y'all, when he was adjudicated before, they said, okay, well, you have deportation orders. But a judge in a district court somewhere said, you can't deport him because he got ops in a rival gang. And that's the story that they were saying all along before he got deported, when it was such a controversy and it was in the news. They said, you can't send him out because the judge stopped his deportation because a rival gang will hurt him and kill him, whatever. Turns out that the rival gang wanted to hurt him, harm him, kill him, because in his home country, he is responsible, allegedly. Got to put that on here. We on them folks' platform, y'all. We got to be careful. In his home country, he is allegedly responsible for the murder of somebody's mama in a rival gang. A rival gang member's mother. And y'all know, if you know like I know, I just told you why I didn't go live on Friday. Y'all understand what it means to be in the 50 club. We getting over the hump, y'all. Or some of us riding that hump like a camel. We on the hump, about to get to the down slope. How many of y'all in the 50 club? Shout out to the 50 club. Some of y'all in the 60 club. Shout out to y'all. Some of y'all in the 70 club. Shout out to y'all. I hope to get where you at. This dude knocked off somebody's mama. Urban Southern Cookie, she ain't shamed. Some of y'all be scared to say what it is. Urban Southern Cookie said, I'm 55. I ain't playing with y'all. I ain't scared of these numbers. God gave me these numbers. Listen, Urban Southern Cookie, I pray that I make it to 55. Bonnie Rivera right there. She rocking out with you. 55. Amethyst Angel says 60 plus. Don't play with it. Y'all claim it because God blessed you to be there. I'm hoping to get where some of y'all at. You understand this? Bernie Miranda said 60 on June 19th. Happy birthday to Bernie. Got 60 right around the corner. LS say, hey, 5 dudes. I'm right there with you. Listen, I'm still getting adjusted, LS. I'm still getting comfortable in my 50 suit. My wife turning 51 this weekend. I got me an old bird. See, this is how we do things right here. I got me an older woman. And we thank God in heaven for every year, y'all. This is what we're working with. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we appreciate. I'm glad for, listen, y'all got birthday cakes in the chat. I'm happy for all of y'all. Rock out, enjoy it, appreciate it. Because tomorrow ain't promised to none of us, y'all. I got so many people that I've been seeing on social media in my timeline, people that I've known, people that I grew up with, people that I'm related to, having so many health issues, checking out of here early. And some of them ain't just checking out of here early. Some of them just checking out. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. Be thankful for everything you got. Vanita said, I'm 56. God bless your 56. Vanita, I hope you get 56 more. How about that? I'm upset with my government, y'all, that they would allow things like this to take place. But I am appreciative that there are people in government who know how to play the government game, who understand that it's a chess match, even when the judiciary acts up and cuts up. Listen, I just posted something on social media the other day about a SCOTUS decision that came down this week, written by Justice Kagan, and she thought it was an anti-2A type decision, even though it was 9-0 in the Supreme Court. But she put language in there that is going to turn out to be antithetical to her political views on 2A. I'm happy she did it. I'm happy that we've come this far. She said that the AR-15 is the most popular rifle in the United States. Not only that, but the AK is commonly owned. Not only that, but the 50 cal is commonly owned in the United States. She wrote that in her decision because Mexico called themselves going to be too big for their britches and going to be too bad. Mexico tried to sue Smith & Wesson, y'all. In that decision, a 9-0 decision, a unanimous decision by the SCOTUS, they smacked down Mexico. But in the text, in the language of that decision, this woman, Justice Kagan, lefty to the core, put something in there that's going to come back to bite the SCOTUS. I promise you, as long as I sit here, just as I'm sitting here before you, I promise you that language is going to reappear before the SCOTUS in another decision, because you got states like mine in California who are ignoring SCOTUS decisions. The New York Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin decision says that you can carry a weapon outside of your home, a pistol outside of your home for self-defense. Under your Second Amendment rights, you can carry a pistol outside of your home for purposes of self-defense. Urban Southern Cookie talking about a Desert Eagle in the chat. Y'all, we mentioned 2A rights and gun rights and things in this chat, and Urban Southern Cookie is always the first one to step up. I ain't playing with her. I ain't messing with her, because I don't think she's playing with us. She seems to be quite serious, y'all. And I rock out with that. I'm glad about it. I think all of y'all should take note from Urban Southern Cookie. Get out to the range. Both men and women alike, get your weight up. But in the Bruin decision from the United States Supreme Court, they said that you are entitled under the Second Amendment right is just as strong as your First Amendment. Your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion. This is not a secondary right just because it's the Second Amendment. It's certainly not a tertiary right. You have the right to carry a weapon outside your home for the purpose of self-defense. Y'all, do you understand that I have applied multiple times in my state, this ultra blue state, this sanctuary state, this state that protects people like Abrego Garcia, has told me multiple times, you can't have a permit. Well, listen here, Susan Harris. I had the pleasure, the luxury to go to grad school in a whole nother state off in the Midwest. And you know what I did when I was there, Susan? I got me a CCW because that was a shall issue state. And they said, sign your name. As long as your record good, you ain't got no criminal activity, everything good on paper, you can get this permit for life. I said, bruh, is it that easy over here? Amongst all these cornfields, with all these Amish people riding around on these this horse-drawn chariots y'all riding around on. Is it this easy in this state to get a permit? Sign me up, bro. And I got my permit from that state. So I do have a permit. Unfortunately, because of reciprocity laws, Susan, it don't apply in the state that I reside in now. I done came back home. And my permit don't apply. I've applied several times in my state and they say, nope, nope, nope. Even in light of the Bruin situation, I said, hey, in light of the Bruin decision, I should be able to get this because it says that I am entitled to this under the Second Amendment. You know what my sheriff said in my county, Susan? He said, nope. But I keep applying every year. You know why? Because I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission, Susan. So if you ever catch me slipping, sirs and sir ma'ams, I got a track record, I got a paper trail, and I'm gonna go to court and say, listen, y'all, I've applied every year, and y'all have violated my constitutional rights to tell me that I can't do what the Constitution says I can do, that I can't do what the Supreme Court of the United States says I should be able to do under the Second Amendment. This is my right. Not just my choice, it's my right. So I keep paying my money, and they keep taking it as a tax on the citizenry of this blue state. They keep treating me bad, but God is still blessing. I ain't got no weapons. I lost them all in a fishing accident years ago. But I tell you what I am going to do. Regardless of what the judges say, I'm going to protect my family. That woman who married me, that woman who said for better or for worse, she understand that. She understand. She be like, hey, bro, you drove my car the other day and you left something in it. Can you come get this thing? I'll be like, oh. Because I ain't going nowhere without it. Your piece of paper don't matter to me. LS says, lost? Yeah, right. See, LS, I could tell you the extended story and tell you how my boat flipped over when I was out there on the ocean and all my weapons got tumbled off into the ocean. But I'm not going to tell you that. Not on this internet. It's not important. We don't need to discuss that here in this open space. Just understand that I might not have any weapons. We might be waiting on the Supreme Court. We might be waiting on the Congress. We might be waiting on the legislature of California. We might be waiting on Governor Newsom. Or we may not be waiting on any of those. Because we understand the Constitution. We've read it. We understand what it says and what it means. Ex Fiorente with the 2. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for rocking out with us on this Saturday afternoon. Says Latina, college educated. I love it. Homeowner. I love it. Yeah, girl. You're speaking my language. Latina, college educated, homeowner, 50 years. Thank you for your support. Ex Fiorente. Thank you. We appreciate you. And understand this in this next story we about to go to, because we about to finish it up. Nope, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna just summarize it for you. Understand that in the future you may see us opine on stories because things are getting out of control here in California. Y'all may have heard, you may not have heard, that there have been riots in Los Angeles. ICE is active in Southern California. It is not an American Latino issue. It is an American, non-American issue. So the same way I would advocate for people to go back to Venezuela, to go back to El Salvador, I advocate for the same people to go back to the Congo, back to Haiti, and back to all kinds of other countries. So as a Latina, college educated, homeowner, 50 years in my chat, I appreciate you rocking out. Don't take it personal, because that ain't what it is. We advocate for certain things here. We believe in certain things here. We try to educate ourselves on certain things here so that we can spread that education to others on this platform, on them folks' platform. And I appreciate you rocking out here. Y'all, LA has been tripping for the last 24 hours. LA been tripping, y'all. They having protests. ICE came through LA and started sweeping up stuff. They got down there in the, I'm assuming it's the Anti Alley, in the Garment District. Shout out to my photographer down there who got a studio in the Garment District. I went down there to do a photo shoot one time, and I looked across at the building and I saw all these Asian Chinese women who looked like they were handcuffed to sewing machines in the building next door. And they were just sewing away. All that stuff y'all buy from Fashion Nova and Shein and all that stuff, all that discounted cheap stuff that I advocate to your son. Listen, when I get in your son's ear, I'm gonna be like, bro, don't get in that nightclub. Don't get in that nightclub in the devil's den, get a couple drinks in you and fall for a $8 outfit on a $2 body and ruin your entire life on a bad decision. Oh, I say these kind of things to your sons. I say these kind of things to my sons, one of which just texted me while I was on live. I'll be in their ear. I'll be at them, because I want them to do better. I want them to be successful. But in order to do that, they got to make better decisions than what they've been making, than what I've been seeing from them. So we advocate for certain things, and I ain't the only voice out here. And I support my brothers out here who are talking the same talk I'm talking. I try to bring it to your attention so you know that there are voices out here who are trying to make a difference. Charles Carr, thank you for rocking out from Facebook. Y'all, we on multiple platforms today. I appreciate y'all rocking out. We trying to get in your son's ear. We trying to make a difference. So that clip, some of y'all who weren't here in the very beginning, go back to that clip and you'll see in the beginning these dudes marching around, chanting, stomping. Bro, if you gonna stomp, I need you to have your child support paid up. My bishop in the Church of God in Christ used to tell me, not just me personally, he used to preach it over the pulpit. You gonna stomp around the house, you better own something. You better pay bills in that mug if you gonna stomp around the house. I hope you working a job and paying some bills if you stomping around in this house. Otherwise, bro, you better walk circumspect. You better tiptoe around. If your wife is down there working double shifts at the hospital while you sitting up playing video games all day, bro, you better tiptoe around the house and make sure dinner is on the table when she get home. Oh, y'all don't like this kind of teaching. I know you don't like it, because when I get to talking it in your son's ear, they don't like it either. When I get to talking it in your baby daddy ear, he don't like it too much. But he'll stomp around with them Hebrew Israelites. All you gonna get stomping around with them bros, whether they the Israelites or them fraternities. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter what organization you attach yourself to. Blackity black man out here stomping for nothing. Only thing you gonna get is some hurt corns, bro. And an angry baby mama. When I see situations like this, y'all go back to the beginning of the video. I played it. I ain't finna play it again because it's just gonna mess up my spirit. When I see brothers marching down the street chanting certain things, I say, how much y'all owe? This look like about $1 million in child support arrears. And then you leave people like me, voices like me, out in the community trying to do good things. Y'all leave us to pick up the pieces and say, I know your daddy left you in tatters. I know your daddy left you in shambles. But there's a better way. There's a workaround that Negro. Listen to me. We can do better. We can work on some things. We can improve some things. We can be better. Y'all, I don't know if y'all hear me today on this Saturday. It's a hard sell to these young folks. It's a hard sell. Because we don't have that genetic connection. We don't have that biological connection. Bro, you ain't my daddy. What are you saying to me? You ain't my daddy. I ain't trying to be your daddy. I'm trying to be a voice of reason. I'm trying to be a light that can guide you in a direction that might lead you to a better end. Because that road you on right now, bro, it's leading to a dead end. And I'm trying to get to you and help you before you get to that dead end and end up dead. Thank you, Amethyst Angel, for the 10. Says, fam, please support our brother so he and his wife and the grands can move out of California. Oh my goodness. Wifey won't leave her babies, so they all have to go. Love to your wife. Listen, she see this summed it all up right there. She understands exactly what I'm saying. I ain't ever asked for this, but I appreciate you putting it out there, Amethyst Angel, because you understand. And I got some places in mind that I wouldn't mind landing. And I understand. Listen, the weather in other places in the United States is nothing like what we enjoy here. Yeah, the weather is beautiful. Listen, I lived in the Midwest for years going to grad school, and I'm still proud to this day in 2025 that I never busted my tail on the ice. I've seen it happen. I've seen some tragic incidents where people slipped and fell and busted their knot on the ice in the snow. We don't get that out here. I would have to drive 3 hours north just to see some snow. And that's over the summit going to another state. The weather is beautiful. But is it worth the foolishness that is going on in this state? Is it worth the governor that we have that is abusing the people of the state? Is it worth the terrible schools and these pink and purple haired teachers that we have to deal with, the abuse that our kids go through, is it worth it? She said that God would bless us to grab our grandkids and go. What about their parents? Their parents ain't trying to, you have to take the whole tribe and just do like Boosie. Post up in Georgia. Boosie built 4 tiny homes on his land for his kids and said, listen, this gonna be the area for y'all. Y'all go back there. Y'all live back there. We're gonna do it because I got the land to do it. I'd have to take their parents too, Amethyst Angel. And listen, I ain't in the 60 club yet. I just got to the 50 club. I'm just trying to get comfortable and adjust myself to the situation. I'm saying, oh Lord, what is going on here? But here we are in California. Here we are dealing with issues in California. Issues that are detrimental to the family, detrimental to the community. Y'all, I worked in the state capitol in California. I was a staffer for an assembly member here in the state. I know how it worked. Listen, I understood. As a staffer in that office, in that liberal office, I wasn't even into politics like that at the time, but I understood. I had a certain bent because the way I was raised, the way I was brought up, I had a certain perspective on things. And as I worked in that state office for that legislator in California, I said, a bill came up and I asked him, bro, how you gonna vote on this? I'm a staffer, y'all. How you gonna vote on this? He said, I'm voting for it. I love it. This little look at Amethyst Angel said, they grown, they can pay their own way. Oh, this a woman after my own heart, y'all here. She understands. They grown. They can pay their own way. Take them babies and get up out of there so them babies can have a good school where they got it. Y'all know it ain't no band in California school. I grew up, there was band. There were athletics. There were clubs after school. There were things to do. Y'all know all of that stuff has been eliminated because they have taken the budget and applied it towards illegal immigrants in this state. Gavin Newsom is now saying he gonna check senior citizens in the state to make sure they ain't got more than $2,000 in assets in order to qualify for Medicaid. Your medical benefits are going to depend on your assets. $2,000. That means if you got an old car, an old hoopty, an old bucket out there in the driveway worth $2,000, you are disqualified from medical care. And yet he is taking taxpayer dollars and saying, I'm going to go over budget to the tune of $9.4 billion in this state and apply it towards illegal immigrants in the state. Did y'all see what they did just yesterday? ICE came through LA. ICE swept through LA. And these folks came out, Antifa types came out, start acting a fool, start challenging the feds, throwing rocks and foolishness. You got millions of people in LA. From LA to San Diego, you got millions of illegals. Listen, we need the feds here. I know y'all might feel a certain way about where you live and what you're seeing, but it ain't nothing compared to California, a sanctuary state, not just sanctuary cities, y'all, but sanctuary cities in a sanctuary state. We got issues here. We need the feds to come through. And I saw a story just yesterday that said Donald Trump is about to kick California's drawers way up in their tail. Yes, Susan, Donald Trump is about to put boot to tail in California. And listen, I hope that there's no way that y'all will vote for Gavin Newsom after this, because you know he's running. He's trying to set himself up as a moderate after doing all this crazy foolishness in California. He's trying to set himself up. But listen, we got an issue here where Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to pull all federal funds from California. You know why? Because I said in my executive order, I told you to keep them boys out of girl sports. I told you to keep them boys from imposing their superior biological will on females in California sports, and you ain't listening. You don't care. You are being rebellious and rambunctious and cantankerous in California. Well, here we are. We're dealing with it. Where they letting the boys outdo the girls.
A biological male athlete took home first place, obviously, of course, to everyone's not surprise at all, in two women's events at last weekend's California High School Track and Field Championships. Yet another instance of not only the biological male sweeping all the medals as always, sweeping the podium, sweeping the gold, but of blue states openly defying President Trump's order to keep biological men out of women's athletics. Jonathan Hunt is live in Los Angeles with more. Jonathan.
Hey, Emily, it was a far less dramatic and far less confrontational weekend at the state championships here in California than many on both sides of this issue had feared. More than 1,500 students competed over 2 days, but the spotlight was firmly on just one, this one. 16-year-old transgender athlete A.B. Hernandez, whose participation had sparked protests from President Trump, who told California officials to throw Hernandez out of the competition, an order that was ignored.
This didn't just happen in California. This happened in 5 different blue states: California, Washington, Oregon, Maine, and Minnesota, where boys stole girls' either state championship spots, their podium spots, their qualifying spots. So it's important to note, it's not just one isolated incident. This is happening around the country.
In the event, though, only a few dozen protesters turned up at the California Championships, even as Hernandez placed first in both the high jump and triple jump. And in each case, under new California Interscholastic Federation rules introduced for this championship, the athlete who placed second was promoted to joint first alongside Hernandez, and the podium was shared. And none of the girls, who you can see plainly right there, who competed against Hernandez, appeared to stage any sort of protest or have any sort of problem with that. It was a different story in Oregon, where 2 student athletes who placed 3rd and 4th in their state championships stepped off a podium on which they were standing alongside a transgender athlete who placed 5th. One of the protesting students telling Fox, quote, "We didn't refuse to stand on the podium out of hate. We did it because someone has to say this isn't right. In order to protect the integrity and fairness of girls' sports, we must stand up for what is right." Now, California officials appear to believe that their compromise rules, shared medals and podiums, as you saw, drew the sting from the protest, but they still face this DOJ investigation over alleged Title IX infringements, and the rule changes don't appear likely to draw the sting from that probe. Emily?
Y'all see what's going on in the state? Donald Trump has stated no boys, no males in female sports. California has said, as a state, as a collective, has said, we ain't going to abide by that. We don't care what you say. We are disrespecting you as a president. We are disrespecting your orders. Donald Trump said, I'm pulling all federal funds. Y'all, the story is out there in the news. I saw CNN reported it. I reposted it the other day. Donald Trump said, I'm about to pull all federal funds from the state of California. You know what Gavin Newsom said? Gavin Newsom, as Trump calls him, said, we won't pay federal taxes. This blue state, the most populous state in the union, we pay to support red states because we pay so much in taxes to the federal government. Gavin Newsom said, if you do that to us, then you withhold federal funds, we won't pay federal taxes. Well, I wonder, sir, if you don't abide by the law, can California citizens withhold their taxes? What's going to happen to them in that case? What will happen to them if they do what you do? You saying you go withhold federal taxes from the state to the tune of $80 billion? No, this is the guy who was at the French Laundry while he had California's locked down, couldn't even go outside. That's that guy, Gavin Newsom, that told your kids they couldn't go to school for 2 years in this state. Couldn't go to school. Now, 1 year would have been reasonable. That second year was lobbied for by the teachers union in the state. They didn't want to go back to work. Left your kids out of school longer than any other state in the union because of COVID. You know how many days his kids missed? 0, because they went to private school paid for by the taxpayers of this state. Oh, yeah, that Gavin Newsom. So as he defies the state and say, we're not going to obey your order, we're going to allow in this state boys to compete in girls' sports. We're going to allow boys to dominate girls' sports. We're going to allow boys to destroy the mentality, the drive of women in sports in this state. I'm trying to find this story that I'm looking for. As boys can dominate, there we go. Let me get to this other screen, y'all. As boys can dominate girls' sports, we gonna act so foolish in this state as to rob state championships from girls. We're gonna be that petty in the state of California. Now, you looking at somebody who was on a championship high school football team in this state. We thought everybody was going to the league on that team. Everybody was a dual sport athlete, including myself. Played football, ran track, did the whole thing. One person out of that whole team, we thought everybody was lit. Everybody was qualified. Everybody was fast. Everybody was strong. One person made it to the NFL. Incredible. But it shows you the sifting that goes on through the process from high school to college to professional sports. It shows you how you can stifle the ambitions of one based on one incident. And when it is sanctioned by the state, it becomes extremely problematic. So as you allow this boy to stand on the platform and defeat these girls and knock the first place girl in the second place and the second place girl in the third place and even the 8th place girl into 9th place, you don't belong there at all. You knocked everybody down. You are messing up scholarships for young girls who might have opportunities to run in college. This was a triple jump and long jump athlete, I believe. You are denying access to track scholarships for these athletes. For a dude. Just and listen, shout out to the dude, because I don't know how you doing all of this with the tuck situation. I don't understand how you walk around tucking, let alone doing a long jump or a triple jump tucked to the back, bro. Like, I ain't even gonna speculate on this platform because I don't want y'all to think I'm crazy. But I live in a crazy state, and we are under crazy management in this state. Oh, I didn't even tell y'all. I wandered off and didn't even tell y'all. I was a staffer at the state of California for a legislature. The reason I left is because a bill came up and I asked my assembly member who I worked for as a staffer. I said, bro, you gonna vote for this bill? Are you really on this type of time? Is this what's going on in the district? Do people really feel this kind of way? And listen, I was gonna say lucky. I was fortunate enough to work for a liberal white assembly member, But if you go to the state capitol in California, all the blackity blacks work for all the blackity black Democrats. That's just the way it goes. Y'all want to talk about fairness? Fairness is foolishness. Fairness is fakery. If you black in the state capitol, you work for a blackity black representative. Well, I just presented myself in a way where I got hired by one who wasn't black. And I would walk in blackity black offices and they'd be like, you work for who? Yeah. Yeah. But he was still a liberal in a very liberal district. And this bill, that was the last straw for me. I said, bro, are you really going to vote for this? He said, yes. I'm a yes on bill such and such. The bill said in California, y'all, this was my last straw. I was about to go to law school anyway. I'd already been accepted. I was already ready to go. But this was the one that made me walk out the door to say, if you are going through divorce in California, you are a future divorcee, man or woman, husband or wife, whatever the situation is. If you are going through a divorce in California and y'all can't come to an agreement on what happens to the family pet, then the family pet gets a lawyer. The dog gets a lawyer. The cat, the parrot gets a lawyer. Well, of course, this was lobbied for by the lawyers associations in California. The attorneys associations lobbied the legislature. They got this thing passed. The person that I worked for in the Capitol decided he was going to vote for it. He was a yes. We need the dog to have a lawyer. I said, bro, I'm out of here. I'm going to grad school. I've had enough of what's going on here in this Capitol. I don't need no more. I'm out. Thank you for the opportunity, but peace, bro. Yes, Urban Southern Cookie said the salamander gets a lawyer. Listen, the pet snake, the lizard gets a lawyer. Absolutely. Yes. And somebody gonna have to pay those lawyers' fees. My guy voted for that. And I was out the door like, bro, I'm done. I can't do this no more. Well, you have a state that is defying Donald Trump's executive order, and it's saying, we don't care what you say, Mr. President. We don't care what you say, feds. We don't care what you threaten, feds. We're going to let boys participate in girls' sports. We're going to let boys win state championships and take scholarships away from girls. And in all of that, y'all, this story struck me because you're saying you can have a boy, a biological male, dominate women's sports, destroy girls in competition. Y'all, they not just winning slightly. They are destroying these girls because they're boys. They're physically superior in certain areas to these women. So you would allow a boy to stand on the podium, a boy to win, a boy to take away from females in this state. And here I came across this little story that vexed my spirit, because even as boys parade around in front of girls, you are punishing this little girl who happened to, in your eyes, in your opinion, celebrate a little too much because she won a statewide championship as a sophomore. Y'all, kudos to this young girl. She still got 2 years left of high school, but as a sophomore, she won state. And y'all punishing her.
No. I worked so hard for that title.
The greatest moment of 16-year-old Clara Adams' young career taken away from her because of a celebration. After winning the 400-meter event at the CIF State Championships with a time of 53.24 seconds, her dream of winning a state title went up in flames after celebrating using a fire extinguisher.
When she blew the fire extinguisher, the opponents were gone. That was our moment of celebration. And the CIF officials made that about them. The crowd went crazy. They loved it. The booth, CIF booth went crazy. They loved it. But those few guys in those jackets, they took offense to it, didn't like it, and they made a decision based on emotions.
The North Salinas High sophomore grabbed a fire extinguisher from her father and coach and extinguished off her spikes. The CIF deemed her celebration unsportsmanlike, stripping her of her title. It's a celebration made famous by American sprint icon Maurice Green, who enjoyed her paying homage to him and thinks she should get her state title back.
When I heard, like, because it happened and then people just started calling me, oh, this girl who just won the 400 redid your celebration. I was like, huh, what? If it was away from everyone and not really interfering with anybody, I would say reinstate her.
One clear infraction was Clara's father hopping the railing onto the track after the race, but says he only did that because of how CIF officials were treating his daughter.
There's a CIF rule saying you can't come over the wall, you can't be on the infield, which is a rule respected. But at this point, I explained before about being a coach and a father wearing the different hats. I saw an official grab my daughter by the arm. They were yelling in her face. When he grabbed her by the arm, I went over the wall at that point. I'm father now. I'm not coach anymore. I'm over the wall.
Now, the true fastest 400-meter runner in the state is back home without a medal. And even if the CIF is to reinstate her as the champion, she never got that moment of being crowned a champion.
Even if everything goes in my favor, in regards to like getting my title back, I'll still never get that moment back, like standing on the podium as a sophomore. I'll never get that back because they took it from me.
Clara was also disqualified from competing in the 200-meter race because of that celebration. And we did some research, analyzed 20 years of state championships, found 0 other times where someone was disqualified and stripped of a title for unsportsmanlike conduct. We reached out to the CIF, haven't heard anything back. We also put up a poll on our Instagram, Dan, asking our viewers if they believe she should have been banned for this or not. Over 1,000 votes and counting, 87% of people saying she shouldn't have been banned for this. And the support from the community has been overwhelming so far.
And she's an immense talent, and she's only a sophomore.
Yeah, she's going to come back stronger and better than ever. They better watch out for Clara Adams.
You bet. All right. Thank you very much, Jake.
And there you have it, y'all. This young girl who seems to be pretty mature for her age. She's only a sophomore. But she's right. She got a point. Because it's being disputed, and Republicans and Democrats have come out in this state. Although the Republicans have no power and no influence, their opinion don't matter. So it matters that Democrats are coming out and saying, give her the title. And y'all know how I feel about Black fathers. If you follow me for some time, you know I'm really heavy on that. So this dude going over the rail and saying, I know it's against the rules, but bro, you put your hands on my kid. Listen. I support him 100%. Bro, go over the rail, do a ninja backflip over the rail and handle your business, because the dude grabbed your girl, your daughter by the arm, was screaming in her face, in her ear, pulled her off to the side. Now, her competitors weren't even nowhere around her. She waited till they were gone and did her little celebration, her acknowledgement. Y'all saw the story. She was paying homage to an Olympian. Understand what it was. And they said that it was excessive celebration such that we're going to take your title. Hold on, bro. The race is over. My time is what my time is. If you're in professional sports, I see you, Amethyst Angel. I will check it. I will reply. If you're in professional sports and you get a situation like this, you understand, okay, you're going to get penalized for excessive celebration. In the NFL, they might give you 5 yards. In the NBA, they might give you a technical foul. But ain't nobody taking your title because the race is over. I won the race. My time is what my time is. You gonna tell me I'm not the champ now because I celebrated in a way that you disagree with? And yet you got males that are beating females in competition and you think that's okay? Hold on, California. Y'all looking pretty un-American right now, California. And I know there's been some cessation talk in this state by some weirdo Democrats who think they can survive on their own without the feds. You out your mind. You let boys compete with girls. You let boys destroy girls. It don't matter whether it's track and field or wrestling. Y'all, they got boys wrestling girls in this state. Somehow that's okay. But this girl, it celebrates in a way that she is paying homage to an Olympian. Someone who has won a state title in the 10th grade as a sophomore. She still got 2 years to go in high school, and she winning state championships. Man, y'all playing with me, bro. Y'all playing. I can't even go in on it like I want to because I'm trying to stay safe. I want people to see God in me, so I can't really let loose like I feel it bubbling up in my spirit. I'm going to even back off the story and just hope at this point that y'all feel my sentiment, that y'all feel my spirit, that y'all feel this video that I just shared with y'all because it's crazy. And I agree with this young sister. First of all, I agree with her daddy, because if I had been in your shoes, I'd have went over the rail too. Boy, you putting your hands on my child? You screaming at my listen. It's gonna be a problem out here. Y'all think a little fire extinguisher was a problem? That's the least of your worries. See, there I go. Let me shut up. Let me shut up right there. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I saved this story for last because I knew how I felt about it. I know how I feel about this state. I know how I feel about my experiences, many experiences in this state. It's all good. But I appreciate y'all rocking out with me on a Saturday. And I most of all appreciate the fact that y'all was willing to come back, I don't know, on a weekend and rock out with your boy after I had an issue on Friday and couldn't present. We trying to set it up. Y'all, told you before, my life is such that I don't really have a set schedule like that. But things happened in such a way on yesterday that it was so unexpected that I would have an allergic reaction to being out in the wilderness and in the heat and on the water, and so much so that I didn't want to present to you. I wish I had some dark sunglasses I could have put over my puffy eyes, but here's the thing. My glasses ain't fake like y'all might see in some of your favorite YouTubers that put on glasses with clear lenses. No, I put on glasses because I'm trying to see something. And when I say something, I mean everything. I'm trying to see everything. I'm trying to see. So if I get on here with some dark looks on, y'all know I can't see nothing. Welcome to the 50 Club. Somebody out there, can y'all welcome me to the 50 Club, please? I need to feel better about my situation. In these glasses that I need to see my nose in front of my face. Somebody welcome me to the 50 Club. Somebody who been there and understand what I'm going through. Because didn't nobody give me no warning. Listen, I got an older brother who been in the 50 Club. He about to exit the 50 Club. I'm like, bro, you didn't tell me nothing about this. Thank you, Vanita. Thank you, Vanita. Says, welcome to the 50 Club. I accept that. I appreciate that. I love you to life. Thank you for that. Urban Southern Cookie says, welcome to the 50 Club. Listen, Urban Southern Cookie, I'm still adjusting. How long it takes, sis? Listen, my birthday in October. how long it take to adjust. I thought it would just be like a few weeks or so, but I'm still adjusting. We still going through some stuff in this 50 club. Listen, I need some veterans in my life who have been here before, who understand. I appreciate talking to y'all. I appreciate learning from y'all. I appreciate gaining insight from y'all. Because I am thankful that God has blessed me to be in the 50 club. Because when I was in my 20s club, I never imagined that I would even make it here. Let me just be honest with y'all. I didn't think it was a possibility. But God has blessed. God has anointed. God has sustained such that I'm a whole 50. Miss Jen is in the building. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your support and your presence. You about to get the benediction, though. Please check out the replay. We appreciate you. X Fiorenti says, welcome to the 50 Club. I joined in February. Okay, so we rocking out. You right here with me. I'm adjusting. It's okay. Praise be to God for blessing us to make it this far, because I see so many stories, y'all. This is the crazy part. And I'm going to let y'all go. I appreciate each and every one of y'all rocking out. But I see so many stories on social media of folks who didn't make it this far. I saw someone recently who, just this week, popped up on my social media feed who passed away at 44. I said, oh my goodness. 44. So young. And then I look at my genealogy and say, whoo, my daddy died at 65. What's biology got to do with it? I don't know. We're going to find out. My mama's still here. She's still rocking out. And her bloodline, her mama and all her mama's sisters lived almost 100. Every last one of them. I said, God, I hope I get them genes. All we can do is live each day and find out. Live life to the fullest, y'all. Don't hold nothing back. Leave it all on the field, as the coaches say. Make sure you have no regrets. And strive each and every day to be like Christ. That's where it's at. Susan Harris says, continued prayers and support. Thank you so much. Vanita said, one day at a time. Yes. Thank you, Miss Jen. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being a part of this stream, for checking in with me on this Saturday. I had a whole nother scheme that I'm trying to set up to do top news stories on Saturday, but it got to follow what we do on Friday. So this week we didn't do Friday. We skipped over Friday. We're here on Saturday, and I appreciate each and every one of you rocking out. I appreciate the sponsors of the stream. Let's give them special accolades, acknowledgement, and support. Appreciate Amethyst Angel and Urban Southern Cookie for rocking out with us. Our sister CA, who don't have nothing to say. I believe she got something to say. She just don't say it. But we appreciate her. We love her to life, and we rock out with her. We thank her for being here. Our friend and family member, X Fiorenti, for being here from the East Coast. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for sponsoring the stream. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being a part. Listen, y'all. I've enjoyed myself sharing with you on this Saturday, and I want you to know that I love you to life. Each and every one of you. I appreciate you. I thank you for rocking out with me. Y'all keep me encouraged. Y'all keep me inspired. And I learn as much from y'all as y'all claim to learn from me. And I hope that we can maintain this space on Them Folks platform and continue to learn from each other. Oh, hold on. Hold on now. Hold on. CA talking, y'all. She said, I have much to say, but on which topic? Listen, y'all, listen. CA will come in my chat. I love this sister. She from the East Coast. I only know what she has told me. I ain't spreading nothing that she ain't said publicly. Our sister from New York, she drop in the chat. She don't typically say nothing. She just support. She don't have a question. She don't have a comment. And then one day I asked her, I said, sis, you came in late and I feel guilty because you done dropped financial support in the chat. I said, you got something to say? And y'all, she blessed us with a quick 2-3 sentence sermon. I said, I knew she had it. I listen, can I put my finger? Listen, let me put my finger right in front of the camera. I knew she had it. I knew it. And in 2 or 3 sentences, y'all, 2 or 3 sentences, let me get myself correct. She blessed us so good that night. I've been a fan ever since. And she's been rocking out with us. And I appreciate her. And so many others. Urban Southern Cookie been with us for so long. Amethyst Angel been with us for so long. Y'all don't understand how much you inspire me and keep me going in this space. Y'all don't understand how much I love and appreciate y'all for supporting me in this space. Y'all my amen corner. Some people have come and gone. Some people have come and gotten wrenches because they supported and still fell off. But these folks have supported me in this space, and I rock out with y'all heavy. And I just want you to know, I appreciate you being here on a Saturday. I appreciate you spending some time on your weekend just to listen to me and my gibberish. CA says, brother, we appreciate you and your honesty bringing us together to discuss these topics that are generally not discussed in the Christian church. Ooh, CA, you got away with words. That last little part right there, you got away with words. Generally not discussed in the Christian church. See, I could do a whole live on that because listen, y'all, the Christian church has been so spicy this week. It has been overtaken by governmental politics. But y'all, this week I've seen Christian podcast against Christian podcast. I've seen recording artists against bishop. I've seen preacher against preacher. I've seen so much going on in the Christian church. Do we really want to go there? Thank you, Amethyst Angel. She said, come over to the Patreon and let's talk about it. We can have extended conversations. Y'all send me something, I'm going to respond. We going to talk about it. Sign up to the Patreon. Come over there. Let's have an extended conversation and keep it going in ways that we can't do on them folks' platform because they said, listen, I got demonetized for saying, somebody say it in the chat. Y'all, if y'all been rocking with me, y'all even know what it is. Listen, y'all tell them because if I say it, they're going to demonetize me just for saying it. Even though it's against God. I stand for God on any platform I'm on. So if you with it, I hope you rock with me. If you ain't with it, I hope you rock with me long enough to get with it. Can we do that? Is that okay? If you ain't with it, I hope you stick around long enough that you get with it. Because one thing is for sure and 2 things for certain, y'all. I ain't going to change. This platform will change before I do. It is what it is. And on this Saturday afternoon, I hope y'all have a blessed weekend. I appreciate each and every one of y'all spending time with me and listening to what I gotta say. But y'all understand, I'm an introvert by nature, and sometimes I just get sick of hearing my own voice, and I gotta log off. And I think we've reached that point, but I appreciate y'all being a part of what I've presented today. I hope y'all got a better understanding of what's going on in my state as I sit here suffering in California. I didn't even show you the rioting that is going forth over the last 24 hours because ICE has got active in LA. Y'all look up ICE protests in LA. Look it up on them folks platform so you can see it. I ain't covering it today. Just search it on YouTube and you'll see how them folks been showing out in LA because ICE put the smackdown, crackdown in Los Angeles, as they should, because y'all might got a little pocket here or there in your state. Y'all might have got a few illegals here or there in front of your Home Depot. But in California, in Los Angeles, y'all, they got millions. Understand me. That's not an exaggeration. That is not hyperbole. They got millions of illegals in those areas. So we need ICE. We need the feds. We need the Trump administration to come down and smack California and put boot to tail, because that's the only way they're going to learn. And even as I sit here on California soil, y'all, I understand it's going to be painful for California residents. But sometimes the medicine don't taste good, but it works. Anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? Thank you. Urban Southern Cookie for the 5 says, my brother Preston would be here more, but he's working a lot now. Good on Preston. We appreciate him. Please give him our best and warm regards. We appreciate him. We thank him for his support. But he still rock out with you, and his family watches. Oh, his family watch. I didn't know that. That's the first time I've heard that. For he ain't never told me that. That is wonderful, and I'm grateful to hear it. Shout out to Preston. Shout out to our sister Urban Southern Cookie. Y'all, it's a family affair out there on the East Coast. We appreciate y'all for rocking out with us. Thank you so much for your support. CA says ICE here in New York as well. Yeah, I know New York got some issues, but at least New York City now has a mayor that is willing to participate with the Trump administration. At least he came around. They dropped in charges against him, and he said, listen, I'll cooperate. I'll work with y'all. We can work something out. We ain't got that kind of cooperation in California, sis. It's going to be like the old mothers say, they're going to have to chew hard bone in this state. And it's going to be interesting moving forward. Even as the feds might cut off all federal funding to this state, they might have to starve us out, y'all, in order for our politicians to learn their lesson. But I'm here for it. Come what may, let it be what it be. We here for it. Because I ain't leaving yet. Because my grandbaby's in school. My youngest is only 3 months old. We about to go take the grandkids, go down to the water and feed the ducks. He can't even go. What he gonna do at 3 months, bro? You don't even understand what's going on. I hope you can get up to speed. I don't even fool with them when they that little, bro. I need you to get older so you can understand what's going on. Let's get out here and get to work. You don't understand work at 3 months. But I love them all the same, just like I love y'all to life. And I thank you for being here. Appreciate you for rocking out with me on this Saturday, y'all. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next one.